Well, that's what being a good teammate is, right?
Absolutely.
So let's talk about what Phil Kessel said to the media in Toronto. He said, basically, things aren't working out here. And what he probably meant with that was things aren't working out on the top line. I don't know if it was misconstrued by the media or someone, but somewhere along the lines, this got translated into, I want out of Toronto. What do you think he meant by his comments?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously there's frustration. There's no question. What is a professional athlete? Dealing with adversity, diversity. You're dealing with everything above. He's making $5 million a year, traded half the franchise away from him. He's playing in Toronto, hardest city playing in the world. Does that mean he could just lash out and cry? I mean, that's ridiculous. What kind of leadership does that show your GM, first of all, who give everything away for him? What does it show your teammates? You're supposed to be the leader. You're supposed to be the franchise. What are the hardcore Leaf fans thinking today? Is our leader pouting and feeling sorry for himself? Suck it up, dig it in, and start working hard.
Well, I think the problem is that a lot of Leaf fans don't see him working hard. They don't see him doing what he has to do to get out of his 10, almost 11-game goalless drought right now.
He's got to go get into a fight. He's got to go get into a fight. But the biggest problem is,
okay, if you're Ron Wilson, do you want Phil Kessel fighting?
At least he'll be doing something. You know what? You got to get your name on the scoreboard somehow. Get his name on the PA. He's got to take a dirty penalty. Do something.
The end of the Leafs. It's a couple days ago. It's missed my mind who they were playing, but the Atlanta Thrashers. At the end of the game, he's on the ice with a minute left to prevent a 1-goal lead. They got him on the ice in hopes that he was going to score an empty net goal.
Confidence.
You really want Phil Kessel on the ice? You want Phil Kessel on the ice?
Do you know what he needs? He needs to do something to break out of his slump. And by you could read his body emotion now. How much intense do you see him stand on the side of that? He takes a shot, he misses it. I mean, that his emotion shows in his game, and the Leaf fans see it. I mean, everyone who sees it, who knows hockey, I mean, he's got to spark some different emotion and do something he doesn't normally do. Like, he's got to forecheck, dump it in, make a hit. He does that, his game will change around. Guarantee it.
But he doesn't. That's the problem. He doesn't go to the tough areas when he's got a problem. And, take me inside the locker room right now. You got Phil Kessel, who is one of the more talented goal scorers in the league. I'm not going to say he's in the category of Crosby or Ovechkin or Stamkos, but in terms of talent, in terms of goal-scoring ability, he's in that tier below, or he should be with the amount of money he's making. Go into the locker room right now and tell me what the youngest team in hockey is thinking when this superstar player that they brought in has the type of body language and the type of emotion that he has, which is very little. What is the room thinking?
Well, I mean, the rule is obviously, it's up to the coach and GM to motivate the guy to whether he's. It's a tough situation because he's your franchise. So no matter what they do, they're looking bad. They can't sit him out. He's going to continue to play in the first line. Don't forget, Phil Kessel played on a very talented team last year in Boston, which is a lot easier to score goals when you've got a playmaker like Savard skating down the ice giving you the puck.
But that's not necessarily true because he scored 36 goals with Savard in 2008, 2009. And in 2009, 2010, he came to Toronto and scored 30 goals in 11 less games, I believe. So that's not necessarily true that he was playing on a more talented team. Now, the team itself was better, but it didn't prevent him from scoring 30 goals.
I think watching the face of the Leafs, he's almost on the sideline. You got guys like Kuhlman, MacArthur. I think they, Grabowski, these guys stepped it up this year, and they're overshadowing, Phil Kessel. And you could see it in the games. Those guys are the guys that are chipping in, scoring the goals, and they continue to excel. And it's like Phil Kessel's pouting, saying, oh, look at me, I can't score. Someone help me. I mean, he's got to help himself. There's no one going to help him but himself at the end of the day.
One of the problems with the Toronto media and the sports media across Canada for that is that they're all over everything. Everything gets covered. It gets magnified 100%. But, let's take me into training camp with the Boston Bruins, a team that's also pretty followed by the media. Do you get a lesson on how to talk to the media?
No, I think some of obviously watch Crosby talk. He's choreographed and scripted every interview to the T, but no, I think, the lesson is watching your veteran players, how they talk, watching the interviews from your, the guys like Ray Bourque, who used to get interviewed, Paul Coffey, Dave Andrechuk. watching those guys and how they presented themselves, you would never hear those guys on a slump talking negative about their play or whether they should be or should not be. I mean, so that's where you're learning. So that's when I say you got these young guys watching this interview. Now they're saying, wow, if he can say that, I mean, what do you think they're going to do when they're in a slump in 2 or 3 years? They're going to remember back from the veteran players of what they used to say, and they're going to pout too.
Couldn't that be a big problem with a really young team like the Toronto Maple Leafs, who everybody said on some nights they are the youngest team in the league. Other nights when Colorado has a couple of younger guys dressed, they are. But when you have young guys like this and they're put in front of the microphone, Toronto has never seen a team this young. Over the years, they've always had veteran teams and they've always had guys know what to say. But when a guy like Phil Kessel says it's not working out here and doesn't mean by the city of Toronto, he means on the line, the media and the fans alike are going to take that and say that, well, what the hell is he saying? Why is he talking like this?
Absolutely. I can guarantee you that Berkey had a meeting with him upstairs behind closed doors about asking, what the hell are you doing? Because he's making him look bad. He traded away a lot of prospects for him. Now, that's reflecting Brian Burke. His play is reflecting Brian Burke's future as the GM in the Leafs, whether it was a good trade or bad trade. And right now it's looking like a bad trade.
What can that do to a dressing room? Can it tear it apart, even if he meant something else by it? Do you think guys are sitting across the stalls looking at it saying, well, if he doesn't want to be here, then why the hell am I here?
No, I don't think. I think this is motivating for some of the guys, like the younger guys I mentioned, like McCarthy. Like, now this is my chance. Because when the season started, number one center, Phil Kessel, there's no question. Now that he's slumping, it's given other guys a chance to show what they can do, get an opportunity to score goals and get ice time. And that's exactly what these guys are doing. They're capitalizing on the opportunity. And that's what the game is about. I mean, you're just a number in the game. And now these guys are capitalizing on the opportunity that Phil Kessel's not. So good for the young guys.
If you're a fourth line player and Phil Kessel says that, do you kind of lose respect for him?
Absolutely, because you look at this shithead. I'm sitting here every night grinding it, getting 3 shifts a game, and he's pouting because he can't score. He's getting power play. He's getting every third shift, every second shift he's on the ice. Playing the best players in the world. Oh, poor you. You're making $5 million a year and you can't score? Suck it up.
When you were all your years of playing, can you name one year where when you were there you thought to yourself, the coach probably isn't going to be here next year?
Well, when I was in the Islanders, it wasn't even the year the coach is probably not going to be here. It was by Christmas time. I mean, when Milbury was there. We went through 2 ownerships in 1 year. We had, Milbury come in and they had interns come in. It was ridiculous. So, absolutely. I mean, that year was real bad. I mean, then, Boston, when Pat Burns was there, we knew it was going bad. Then Mike Keenan come in. And then when Mike Keenan was going wrong, we knew he was going out. I mean, you could see it when they're going out. I mean, Toronto's situation is a real unusual situation. I think any hockey fans can see that with Ron Wilson. And he's already passed his 9 lives. He's up to about 18 lives right now. And, is it his fault? Not necessarily, but at the end of the day, somebody's got to be accountable.
You want to know what I think? I think that this team has looked at Ron Wilson for a season, maybe a little bit longer, and said, hey, he's not going to be around for much longer, so what's the point in busting our asses right now? And I think that's provided a toxic atmosphere in the locker room, and the team itself has really faltered because of it. But let's switch gears now. Let's talk about the Matt Cook hit on Ovechkin. Looked like, to me, he stuck his knee out. You were saying before you didn't think he really did. Why do you say that?
You know what? The style Ovechkin plays, in and out, quick in turns. Let's not forget, we're watching replays at a slower speed than game speed. And from what I honestly see of it, I mean, did he stick his leg out far enough to make it intentional? I think it was a reaction. And Matt Cook has got that small man disease with a pair of skates, so he plays that way. So I think we can see that's his style. I think if he was a little bit further away from the check, Ovechkin tried it. I mean, he did a complete, tumble sideways because he tried to pull himself away from the hit. And that's one of those situations. Instead of trying to take the hit, trying to step away, you're going to get more injured, as opposed to being prepared for the check. So I didn't think it was that dirty. Do I justify the way Matt Cook plays? I don't justify that hit. Ovechkin has made a numerous amount of hits throughout his career, and that's what comes around goes around.
All right. I think next time when we come back, when we bring this show back, should we do the Brass Bonanza again? You seem to like that song off the top, didn't you?
You know what? I am done with the Brass Bonanza. I'm glad I was able to experience it for the 30 seconds off the ice. I think on the ice, I probably would have throw a puck at the PA system. But you know what? There's probably a lot of people that really enjoyed and missed that song, but I think it's time to retire it.
Throwing the puck at the PA system because you couldn't raise the puck?
Probably.
All right. Ken Belanger, we'll talk to you next week. I'm Corey Landsberg. He's Ken Belanger. Listen to The Code on hockeyprimetime.com.